come together. We'll keep experiencing this. This ain't on them. This on the black community. This on us. There can't be another Isaiah. There can't be another Eric Godway. Milwaukee, we gotta do better.
All right, we live. We live. What's happening? We live again with the Truth Be Told, where you don't get the truth whether you like it. It's on you to decide what you like and what's true. I'm joined by three of my co-hosts, two of my co-hosts. My other two, my son, he's studying patience, pipes, and is busted. And we got introduce yourself, man. People might not know. What's up with you? What are y'all? Top.
Make it. Steve Burnside, author of Reaching the Youth, Resolutions for American Crisis, Motivational Speaker, things of that nature. If you haven't got a copy of this book, it's available on Amazon.
I'm Sean Moe. The Capital Drive panel, it be me. And today we joined by our brother, man, close friend,
The genius.
special guest,
Ed Henning.
Milwaukee's own Ed Henning. So, you know.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Man,
You know, we said it today, you know.
my Airbnb rock in. I have a question. Okay, this serious talk. We're gonna get to that. Okay. We're gonna be talking about the Department of Public Instruction. Just expound on this topic. We're dealing with the public school system.
Well, not just public schools, but education in Wisconsin, period.
Education in Wisconsin, period, exactly. You know, the thing is, this has been the narrative. There's been a pipeline to prison going on from the public school system for eons. That's what prompted me to actually write this book entitled Reaching the Youth, Resolutions for an American Crisis. There's a lot of essential knowledge that is being not taught to our kids in the public school system. I'm gonna give you some prime examples. Thinking and rational behavior. That's not something that's being taught in the public school system. What about morals and ethics? What do morals and ethics entail? We're talking about behavior traits. What's the root cause behind the fratricide in our community? It is the lack of morals and behavior traits. What type of morals am I talking about? What type of traits am I talking about? That afflict us. Jealousy, envy, ignorance, pettiness, being small-minded, and so on. Like
I got to interject because
go ahead, Sean.
we get off subject. Topic. Is the Department of Public Instruction and what took place with this election.
Okay.
Right? And what was at stake with this election. Okay. And my stance on it was that people didn't vote outside party lines, which may residual effects in the future, right? We know that the Milwaukee public school system has been enduring decades, right?
A bunch of brainwash.
It's not just brainwashing. It's just, I think we put people in place without researching who those people are, based off how others share their ideas or how they perceive, right, through their messaging. But but we don't research.
Right.
And I believe this last election was another, we saw it again. Miss Underling, I don't know her personally, but her record over the last 4 years has told me that she's not perfect job. Right. Miss Kendrick, I don't know her. I know that she was a teacher in a school system that was achieving academic success in Wauwatosa. Right. A lot of us send our kids to Wauwatosa because NPSW. Yet we didn't choose somebody to run the Department of Public Institution that has a success rate. And I want to explore why. Why do we continue to vote? Because, hey, you know what? I know a lot of it is Trump this time, right? It's Trump, but a lot of us voted for Trump. A lot of us voted for Trump, right? A lot of the people that we walk around with every day voted for Trump. Well, was it why? It was because they was tired of what they were getting. So that's why I want to talk about DPI and that.
I mean, you know, we've been dealing with the two-head state system for hundreds of years. And another thing, when it comes to these elections, the problem is as people that we looking at the symbol and not the substance. And we need substance. We need results. Don't put nobody up in my face that is dressed like Michael Jackson, whoever. And think I'm just gonna vote for him just because he can be or whatever.
I wouldn't care if they got a scarecrow suit on from the Wizard of Oz. That's right. If they do a job, right?
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's what we need.
Yeah.
We need to get out of symbols and start looking at the substance. And that's where we get hoodwinked, bamboozled, in hand all the time.
Well, I disagree because I mean, in an ordinary world, 20 years ago, I say, yeah, okay, you're right. But now, the way our world and country is going with this crazy man, anybody that's in line with his politics or ideology, I can vote for what? What he doing is playing chess. He getting all his pieces in play. And then one day, the game gonna be over. I mean, over for who? But that's what he done. He lined it up. So when you say this lady, whoever she is, you said the Republicans back her.
They supported her.
Okay,
They funded it.
they did it for a reason. They support her for a reason. So whatever that reason is, it gotta be contrary to what I believe in.
But how do we know? Because we didn't sit down and question her or talk to her because she's Republican. We don't want to have a conversation with her because she's backed by Republicans. That's like the one slide, right? She ran for district attorney, right? I stopped messing with her because I didn't want to influence people voting for her because I was an activist, I was militant, I was against the system, but I understood that the system needed somebody like her. But she was backed by Republicans. Black people said, I'm not voting. Even though this was right after J. Anderson Jr.'s son had got killed, and the district attorney refused to charge the police. But we said, we're not voting for her because she's Republican. Even though the need for different leadership in the district attorney's office was urgent. But we didn't vote for this system. And Trump went in office.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's different. See, if Trump is not in office, and then I think people exercise they right to this, vote for whoever, and if you feel you oppose abortion, okay, then vote that way. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it is. But I'm saying right now, today, what our country is going through, there's no way we should vote for anybody that's in line with that man. That's all I'm saying. Right now, not 5 years ago, not 20 years ago. Right now, today, if you in line with him and if they backing you, I'm not gonna vote.
So
That's
let me
all.
ask you a question. And anybody can answer this. Are we just gonna vote Democrat because we don't want Trump without demanding that our Democratic leaders respect us, treat us equally, listen to us, put us at the table? Because that's what's been happening. We've been voting without being put at that table.
Exactly. You know, it's like this argument is over. Because right now, it's not about sitting at the table. It's about the table is gone now. Because the president took it away.
Okay.
So it ain't what you saying, okay, we not invited to the table. No, we not invited to this earth. You don't want to see it. You don't want us in this country. He's setting the pieces up. And I don't understand why everybody can't see it.
Well, people said it.
Okay, well,
That's the people that voted for it.
all right. So anybody MAGA or Elon, what's his name, Musk or Trump, if they support a political person, or I'm not gonna vote. I'm not gonna do it because they're doing it for a reason. Just the same as the Wisconsin Supreme Court. They back that man for a reason. I mean, he didn't sit up there on the TV and say, "Well, I'm gonna vote with the law," but he not.
Mhm.
Once you get that 5 to 10 years good, now you can do what you want to.
Right.
It's the law. You're gonna do what you want to, and can't nobody do nothing. And so we don't back that man. I don't know the proper way either, but I'm just saying I didn't know her policies and she may believe in abortion. I don't believe in abortion, but I'm still not gonna vote because I believe in rights and they don't.
So I want to go back to the Civil Rights Act, right? And talk about DEI because the Civil Rights Act was put in place for us, right? And DEI, which is really okay, we're just gonna twist the Civil Rights Act so that white women, the LGBTQ, right? And everybody gets to
More politics.
more politics, and we still left that here. Right? It's okay, you know what? This was okay. We're gonna step over y'all again. When do we and what do we need to do? When do we need
I mean, when you ask, what do we need to do? When I look at the political landscape, it's just in a local perspective instead of a national perspective, because the local government is going to be more effective on what's going on with you, what's going on the national level. So that's why you got cities like Atlanta, LA. Those cities got a little bit more. Even our Milwaukee, we all 50 plus. This is not our Milwaukee.
Right.
Our Milwaukee is A.O. Smith, Briggs, Stratton.
I was the primary place black people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our adjustment from our Milwaukee to this Milwaukee is very difficult.
Yeah.
Because that Milwaukee ain't coming back. And that's what all of us 50 and over keep reaching for.
Yeah.
We want our old Milwaukee back.
Yeah.
But because, like Nick said about the landscape of the economics, it's not there anymore. The manufacturing industries, now that's why people trying to get McDonald's to pay you $30 an hour. Because those was the jobs our parents and grandparents came here for. But those jobs have been replaced by MPS. A lot of them school teachers that we got now, them 20-somethings, when we went to Franklin, there was teachers that was teaching us. We didn't have to go through the disciplinary conduct conversation all day. They could teach us because we went to school prepared. So the village also is gone. So all I'm saying is, with the way things are, we're gonna have to be non-conventional. People keep saying the system. The system is designed to do just what it's doing. That's why Black power got replaced by Black excellence. So Black power means I'm breaking down the system. Black excellence means I'm going to excel within the system. So I'm not scared of Black excellence. I don't want black power.
Yeah.
So you can excel within the system because it does nothing to the system. You're just doing good within something that's already established, but you ain't trying to break down the establishment, and that's more acceptable.
Yes. So
But
that takes me to what I was saying, right? We talk about these two parties, which are systems,
yeah,
right? And going back to what you just said about Black Milwaukee, Black Milwaukee had their own systems,
that's right.
right? We don't worry about the bigger system because we had a system within that system that worked for us.
Right.
So we want to figure out how to deliver from what we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell people, I don't give a damn about Trump.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Because I'm not going to allow what Trump is doing to affect what I'm doing.
Right.
I'm going to excel regardless, right? His system, I can find a way to maneuver as I have been, as we all have been. This ain't nothing new for us, man.
No.
This struggling shit, this what he doing, we done went through this before. We done went through worse. A lot worse. Oh, yes, we have.
No.
You may not have been born to see it.
No.
I'm gonna have to say to me.
It may go back to that.
We may go into a recession,
No.
but he's not gonna last for 4 years in the same capacity. He won't last the same power 2 years from now. Because the House or the Senate will change.
Well, this is the most dangerous time in our lives, I'm gonna say. So whatever happens, that people can't see the potential of what can happen. See, that's what it is. You're not looking past the light. Oh, yes, sir. Okay. Well, if you look past this light, you know this man has capability. Well, he's trying to set it up to have capability to start World War III. I mean, it happens.
He wants to be a dictator. He may use the threat of World War III, but his thing is to be like Putin. Right?
You know, okay, so we talking about that. It's only so much he can do. He can talk crazy, he can get up there, but he's only the president.
Right.
He don't have the Senate.
Right.
You know?
Right now he does.
Right now he does. And they ain't gonna, you know, when you and the president, the America go like this, a little to the left sometimes.
Yeah.
But it never go all the way over here. It just not happens.
But I think we crying for it now.
Well, we're there. But Tuesday's vote, understand, Tuesday's vote was not just a reflection of Wisconsin. It was a reflection of the country. Because look at how many outside people were involved in that race.
Okay, check this out. Ronald Reagan, we lived during the Reagan.
Yes.
He was called a moderate conservative, right? A moderate Republican. He wasn't so far down. So the last 10 years came out with this. What was the Republicans calling themselves 10 years ago? And they were saying they wasn't conservative enough.
The Tea Party.
Yeah, the Tea Party.
The Tea Party.
They was all the way to
To the right.
all the way to the right.
Yeah.
So
And
therefore,
then you get the progressives,
the progressives.
which are falling to the left.
Right. So those, you see the Tea Party, they don't even saying that.
Yeah.
Because this thing is not, you know, people, the country's divided up, it's happening, right?
Yeah.
Just numbers wise, it's happening. So it's not, and I'm not saying not to be underestimating nothing about the president or anybody. Anything can happen. We live through terrorists, right? So anything can happen. But I will say, even when I was in prison, I think the weapons people go check out Saddam Hussein.
Yeah.
Next day he didn't have no weapons.
Yeah.
Literally, just right there, so he didn't have no weapons.
No weapons.
They still, when he got him, took him out.
And they had weapons.
They said he had weapons.
Yeah.
So what was be so much different than what I witnessed already sitting here watching the TV? I watched Hurricane Katrina. People didn't get no help.
None.
What was different than that? That terrified me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I watched the Hurricane Katrina incident go down with no help.
No help. Yeah.
What's scaring you more than that?
It ain't gonna
be nothing compared to what if that man is way. We not.
I can believe that. I can believe
So
that.
let me ask you a question. Everything that he has done, there's nothing that he has done that none of us agree with.
I really don't. You know, I'm not.
You know, stimulus checks, whatever.
But those were put in place by Obama. He decided his name.
But too, we're gonna continue, and I said this during the last election. We're gonna continue as black people in this country, in 40 years, we're gonna continue doing whatever. Whatever. We're gonna
But
continue.
we've been having the earth in the beginning.
No, we're gonna continue going back and forth about these two parties, the red and the blue, or whatever. And you know why? Because as I said in the last election, there's 40 million black people in this country. Where's our special interest groups? The Jews ain't Republican, they're not Democrats. They special interests. The LGBT group, they special interests. We ain't even starting up to come together and put a the main to agree to.
The question earlier, what are we gonna do? Right? Right? What are we gonna do? Because the vote's coming back, and they not come up sitting down with us and what do y'all need? What can we do to get y'all vote? They know it.
We got together. We go with a 10-month program. Look, this is what we want.
This is the thing. This is the thing. It's deeper. Okay, now what you're saying is right.
Mhm.
Ice Cube tried.
Yep.
I seen that.
Yep.
Ice Cube tried to say, hey, let's not go with no party. Let's go with we are black people.
Yeah.
Who gonna do something
For
for
us.
us? And I understood that exactly.
Yeah.
But the hardest part for us, this is why it's hard for us to pull something like that off. It's because my last name is Henning. What's your last name?
Burnside.
What's your
More.
What's your All right. We have been tampered with.
Yeah.
So those people that we try to say, like the Jewish people, they're intact.
Yeah.
The Latino brothers, the Asian brothers. And this is what I went through in prison.
Yeah.
Asian brothers sitting at the table, playing cards, speaking their native language.
Yes.
The guards don't
Don't know what they
The Latinos speaking their native language. Guards speak English.
Mm-hmm.
The brothers, we naked.
Yeah.
We stripped.
Yeah.
So we have nothing. So when people say, why don't we stick together like the Jewish people, like the Mexican people, like the Asian people? Because we ain't black. We just black on the skin tone.
Yeah.
But everything else, from our names to our thoughts to our worldview, come from him.
Yes, sir.
So how can we pull off somebody that ain't been tempered with, like our brothers from Jamaica, like our brothers from Africa, like our brothers from Mexico, from the Jewish brothers from Israel?
Yeah.
How do you compare yourself to that with your culture when you've been Frankenstein?
Well,
So that's what makes it so hard. That's the glue.
yes, sir.
That's the glue. And they say, why y'all don't stick together? Because they took the glue.
And every other ethnic group, if you have a conversation with them, they see our power.
Yeah.
They see our power. Whereas we don't see it.
Yeah.
And they know, they'll sit down and tell you the truth.
But that go back to Kunta and Toby.
Okay.
This is why I don't want you to be Kunta.
Yeah.
I gotta make you Toby.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So it worked.
it worked.
Toby's.
Yeah.
So now we got to go all the way back and redo that
And
thing
program.
before, because it's levels.
Yeah.
Because you can't skip that.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can't skip over that and be like, all right, we're gonna do it like this. You can't.
Right.
You're doing it with one arm tied behind your back. You're not even in the right state of mind to do it. You in prison when the Latino brothers come through the door, you can see it.
Yeah.
But the Latino brothers get
Yeah,
it back.
Don't even got to know it.
Right. That's
You walk in.
That's the glue.
Who's that nigga?
Right.
You know what I mean? Right?
But that's been going on for the 400-500 years y'all spoke on. And that's the hurt. But I will say this. Nick just mentioned the propensity of what's possible during this administration.
Yeah.
That wakes people up.
It's a lot of possibility, but
That woke a lot of people up, like the Target, the Walmart thing. We done stuck together on that more than we done did anything. Because we was complacent.
Yeah.
We had Obama, we was happy, we was cool, they love us, we all right.
And nobody thought this food.
Now somebody compared and said, we really don't. We really mad because of what happened. So I'm gonna smack everybody upside the head and went that route and wake everybody up. And sometimes, especially us, we need to wake up call.
Yeah.
Because we was complacent with nothing. We were satisfied with nothing.
Just content with being content.
But now we woke up. Now there's a lot of people of color making some moves, doing some things, being very aware of what's going on in the world. They wasn't aware.
Yeah.
We was cool.
We was cool. We was cool.
And we wasn't getting nothing. We was just happy. But now we got space got the lady Crockett. She don't rolls up and she ain't being quiet with nobody. I see her, and I don't even watch the news, but I see her.
Yeah.
See the Crockett, the young lady Crockett, she said she ain't being quiet with nobody.
And she,
But that's what it takes.
that's what I'm saying. She understands the gravity of what's going on.
Yeah.
But listen to what she's saying.
Yeah.
Listen to what's going on. People
And maybe we need that.
trying to roll this stuff back. And he is rolling this stuff back.
Maybe we need that.
He has really, some of the stuff that he has taken away will never come back. Never. Just imagine that, right? Like USAID, I believe they said the way that he dismantled that, it'll still be established, but it'll never do what it once did.
USDA?
USAID.
It's that
USDA.
it's a thing that they send out to lead the people over there in the same Africa like that.
Yeah, so it's,
But they also get some stuff.
yeah.
But with the 40 million of us in this country,
Mhm.
we like eighth highest earners in the world. Like we can earn more money as we're a nation within a nation.
Yes. Yeah.
We actually are a nation within. We got more people and more money than Argentina. Then you can just go, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
For so many nations that we are better checked in, but we just won't
We
come
won't,
together
we
to
won't
be
be
right.
to really.
So that's the hurdle. That's the hurdle. Just coming together. And guess what? Since the civil rights movement, that's been a focal point to make sure that don't ever happen again.
But he rolling it back. He can get rid of it, but he's trying to.
Yeah.
See, this the moves he making. He making some serious, powerful moves. And if you roll back in, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. It's still
Well,
OT.
for the next 2 years, for almost 2 years, right? We need to plan, build,
Yeah.
be prepared to remove his power, which is the Congress and the Senate. If we're not going to do that, then having these conversations are they cute, right? But who they gonna let?
Put ourselves. At the end of the day, we have to come together. We got to come together with like a spectrum.
I said there was people, man, and I said I would never.
When they locked Bond up and they put him in the county jail a few years ago, and the city went down there and threw a rally.
No. So we gonna detour. We gonna detour. I'm gonna say this, man.
Politics.
What they did was a joke, right? It didn't affect their money. They didn't have to call in no extra shares for overtime, none of that. When we went to jail down there and they locked the 77 of us up on that bus, when they were that bond out, we didn't leave. We didn't go party. We didn't do a barbecue. We didn't bring down no basketball net. We said we're gonna disrupt everything downtown so that y'all don't get no rest. And y'all got to use your resources unless you let go out. We didn't go down there comfortable because they were comfortable. It's about making people uncomfortable. Right? With that, I'm not talking about everything. I'm talking about in that activism thing, which I don't do no more. I don't do it no more. You know what I mean? Because speaking of systems have to have structure. Our system of activism has no structure. It has no structure. It has no purpose. It has no, you don't go after whatever they got. But I'm because
we're not gonna
because we really want to talk with you. You know what I mean? You got a lot going on. You know what I mean? You got a grand opening coming. The first black work boot company in America. You got trucking business, man. You did barbershops. So here and you hustle. You know what I mean? The hustle is real. The grind is real. And we talk about this, and we just talk about how what Trump is doing is not going to affect what the success. And it's not you're not allowed to affect what you try to accomplish.
No, so it's not gonna stop your sales.
It ain't gonna stop you.
It ain't stop.
It ain't gonna stop you.
That's what we meant by unconventional.
So you tap into something, right? It's not unnatural. Like you said, we come from that Milwaukee where you work, hustle, right? You chase success. You want to feel success. What is it that Ed has that others feel a lot?
Well, just be candid and straight up, like, a lot of people say all the time, like, just going off of what you asked about, like, Ed did 20 years. He out here doing this. Why you ain't doing that? Why you ain't doing that? You ain't doing that. And when I first came home and I was on my journey where I wanted to go and I was working, man, and I was trying to get my barbershop open and all of that stuff, I felt the same way.
Right.
But here it is, 8, 9 years, coming up on 9 in October, that I've been home. It's like, I don't even really agree with that.
Okay.
And what I tapped into was a life that's gonna look totally different than where I come from. And what it was gonna take, it was gonna take more than me to be average.
Yeah.
I was gonna have to work harder than you, longer than you.
Yeah.
Because I studied how to. I think that he don't even count reps in the weight room until they hurt. Because they're the only ones that count.
Yes, sir.
I studied Bruce Lee. If you see Bruce Lee work out, the man work everything out to the fingertips. Every muscle.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I studied Kobe and Jordan. They say they'd be a third quarter of a basketball game, and they'd be yelling at Jordan, what time you working out in the morning? Jordan would be like 7 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? So those are the type of things that I studied for 20 years. Like, that's the key. That's the key. Work harder and longer than anybody that's trying to do what you're trying to do. And I came home and I worked on that my whole time. I got up and worked out. I went to the library. I did things that people like, look at that dude right there, man. He think he gonna get out and do something. His bill ain't gonna let him do this. He ain't gonna do this. But I was working on me the whole time.
Yeah.
I wasn't working on POs. I wasn't working on baby mama. I wasn't working on bro. I wasn't working on none of that. I put all of those 20 years into me. And I wanted to make sure I was unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like if baby mama don't look out for me, if bro and them don't look out for me, if mom say I can't stay there, I'm just preparing myself for every scenario for me to win, no matter what.
You know, that reminds me of a system of 5 P's. Proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Exactly. So I was preparing myself for every turn from A to Z. This might not happen for me. This might not happen for me. This might not happen for me. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm prepared, but some things came to test that. But I stayed out.
Yeah.
Stayed out, saved the road about 10 times. Thought I was ready to go. About 5. But no. I'm like, man, I've been working hard.
Yeah.
But tested that perseverance, that resilience. And like I said, the average person is not going to get up this early and grind. They ain't going to stay out on the grind that long. The average person is not going to do this shit.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But I know it. I'm saying, man, you know what? You can do it, but you can't do it just looking at this world with the average person's perspective.
Yes, sir.
You're going to have to take above average. You're going to have to take an Ali approach. You're going to have to take a Jordan approach, a Beyonce approach. Beyonce, look, I know it all. Beyonce practiced falling down. She practiced the blacks going out. She practiced the signs going out because the show go on.
You gotta go on.
Only thing you rehearsing for is everything go right.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen like that. Everything, you didn't even learn how to ride a bike like that. You failed, got back on the field. You learned how to walk. You failed, got back on the field until you took off. But that same process is with anything we do in life. You're going to fall, get back up until you get it right.
Yes, sir.
But somewhere along the line, the signals get crossed, and we say, I'm not going through that stuff no more. The signals got crossed, and it destroyed that little kid. That little kid that said, I'm riding that bike. I'm riding this bike. Knees scarred up, elbows, I'm riding this bike. And that's all you gotta tap back into is that little kid. That little kid, he had more power than you got. Because you don't believe like that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't believe. I mean, you talk stuff, and you don't believe that.
Yeah.
And that's where the signals got crossed. That's what when I went in at 24, I woke up out of that defeated, that I can't do it. And it was like, man, I can do anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I tapped into. I can do anything.
So no, I had a question for you. You know, there's a, you know, we're all, a lot of us, we got talent and things of that nature. I'm an
I don't
author.
have no time.
Oh,
I'm an author, whatever, but I think it's not no people that write, you know, design t-shirts, but out of all things, what made you decide to design a workbook? Was it because the boots that you wore in prison, or they too hard on your feet, or what? I mean, this is really genius. And I've seen several people products and things of that nature, and I rarely use the word genius. I call myself boss, but he's a genius. But really, I'm not a genius. I'm just an author, I'm smart. He's a genius. And on his white books, what made you decide to design some workbooks?
Man, conversation. It's like I said, man, I wanted a life that looked totally different from where I come from. I grew up when I was 11 people.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 4 of my uncles, my grandma, my granddaddy, my mama, and 2 of my aunts. And all of my uncles, all the males, besides my granddaddy, you know, drugs, alcohol, all of that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even have to leave the house to get to the streets
right.
because I had all the elements of the streets right in my living room. Drug selling, drug using, prostitution, pimping, all that was going on in my home. So I'm already knowing, like, I don't want that life. I don't want that life. But just like anybody else, young, impressionable, my horses wore down. You know, first I was dancing.
Yeah.
Dancing told me, you know, and it took a lot of strength to do that amongst the stronger guys in the hood.
Yeah.
You know, I can go down the list. But for some reason, I was able to hold on to that kid. And then when I got about 18, 19, I lost focus. And I said, man, I'm going to get me some money.
Yeah.
But to come up with your answer, but how did I come up with workbooks? roots, man. When I said I was wanting a life that looked drastically different from mine, the conversation started to change. So when I say that, I say this. Some of the principles and values that you have when we are in the hood, they have to change.
Yes, sir.
They have to change. Because you have destiny to fulfill. You got something you was put here to do. Right. And everything you put before that is a distraction. That's right. So therefore, I have to clear out all the distractions and say, you know what, man, it's something different. So as I began on my journey coming out of prison, I've been talking to different people, making it into different rooms, hearing different conversations. Yeah. So now my conversation might not be about who got shot last night, who got caught up, you know, who got knocked, you know, who girls sleeping with who. Yeah. You know, I seen no girl with such and such. So those conversations. What's going on in the hood? What's going on in my neighborhood? Now my conversations is about the ideas that can get me out of it. Yeah. Man, you know, have you ever thought about this? You ever thought about that? You ever thought about this? Man, you be working hard. You ever thought about this? So the conversations kind of change with some different people in the room, right? Yeah. So I'm having a conversation about, man, I'm in this trucking business. My driver is really tripping. I think I gotta find me another investment. So somebody got a clothing store. And they say, man, well, you know, in the mall, the clothing store carry a lot of men's suits, but they don't have men's shoes. And there's not a lot of places in the mall that have men's shoes. So here I am, Google my best friend on my journey of entrepreneurship. I'm Googling men's shoe stores. Men's shoe stores, it ain't that many. It ain't that many. So I'm talking to another person down in Houston. Man, I'm thinking about starting a shoe store because it's not a lot of men's shoe stores anymore. They said, well, yeah, stay in your lane. If you do, stay in your lane. I was like, man, the king of the grind. I'll work anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's what I've been hanging my hat on for the last, 7 years before I started the company, 6 years. And I'm like, man, I'm the king of the grind. Grind. Work. Man. Do my research. It's some space. I found out that the first work group was created in 1930. So that was over 90 years before I started my company. I'm like, years ain't been no new work groups, ain't been nobody, ain't been nothing. Then I started the company. A little more research showed me that there was nobody in America of color for the work group company. And I said, I knew I did it right there. But it just came from conversation.
So I wasn't talking about your groups.
I didn't come up with the idea. The idea was given to me just through conversation. I was like,
well, was it the land or was it the fire? Because when you have environment,
more than the land.
Yeah, okay. Because
the conversation gonna be different. Yeah. Not to talk my grandma right now, she loved me to death. And I say, Mom, I'm going to the moon tomorrow. My grandma would say, boy, you better go big, you don't mess around kids. But that's out of love.
Yeah.
Whereas if I go in the room with a billionaire and say, dog, I'm going to the moon tomorrow. Yeah. So it's not that anybody is wrong. They're just working with what they have.
Yes, sir.
And my grandma would say, well, you don't get out of the way, you don't hurt yourself. But if I'm in the right room, it's gonna say,
go a little bit higher.
A little bit higher. So that's all it is. The conversation is gonna change. Nobody's right or wrong, but it's like your food. If you eat negative food, if you eat negative hamburgers and cookies and candy bars, you're gonna look different than the guy that's eating the vegetables and the fruit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a different look. That's how it is with the conversation, man. So now I try to avoid the conversation to say I can't do it. I don't even entertain that. If I spend anybody like, man, let's go start this business, and I feel that hesitation that, oh no, I can't ride with you. I'm going. Yeah. I'm going with everything in my soul. I'm bringing it. And I know ain't nobody compete with that.
Yeah.
If I'm giving something, everything in my soul, because God woke me up this morning. So all I'm saying is I'm gonna do something with it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pay him back. Everything in my soul, ain't too many people doing it. Ain't too many people doing it. It's a 0.5%.
Yes, sir.
That's waking up every day of their life and saying, I'm giving it all. When I go to bed at night, man, I sleep.
How long do you sleep? Because I only get like 4 or 5 hours.
That's all I get. But that's all I need.
That's all I need. Yeah.
Because I found a contract. You know what I'm saying? If I got that second chance, I'm gonna need a third.
Right.
So I'm not even negotiating.
Okay.
It's what it is. I said, man, if I get that second chance, I'm giving it everything in my soul. And that's what I've been doing for the last 28, 29. Just giving everything I got.
So think about your boots. You know, because I researched the other boots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For those that don't know, you know, I'm trying to work with Ed, man. This one,
Great job.
you know what I mean? Because
I didn't know you had all of these.
you know, I remember when we called this case, how much I was hurt.
Yeah.
Because like, man, you know what I mean? But seeing it now, I'm like, man, look, brother, you know what I mean?
He told me something too, man. We was real deep, man.
Yeah, so,
Told me to go back to Memphis, man. Get your butt back on the highway. Get out of here, man. I ain't got 2 more legs. That's right. He tried to tell me. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
but we had these right now.
That's my question. I'll be questioning them though.
Yeah, this is your journey. You did it. This is you.
And you're damn good at it. And what not done that.
That's right.
That's all.
You right. You right. That's all I'm saying.
So, you know, I've researched red, green, and
Legend.
all that shit, right?
Legend.
You know, some of the people just got, but your shoes, your boots, they wear better, right? They look better. You know what I mean? They're not the average work boot, because you can see on these. Right? You know, I got a burgundy jacket I just bought, right? I'm gonna wear it, you know. Yeah. But I can wear it with your boots. I can wear my suit coat, my suit with your boots. Why? Why did you want to have that appeal? Was that something you said? This is the set.
That was my mission. First I got in it, I bought anything. It just wasn't good stuff.
Yeah.
But as I grew, like I could break a boot down now from bottom to the top. I can name every part of the boot like a machine.
Yeah.
But I was like that.
Yes.
Love it. And I've been able to start designing. So now I can say, take that insole, take that midsole off, and put this upper on it.
Yeah.
You know, they put the collar on it like this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can put it down and design this boot. But the look was something because it's deeper than just the boot. A lot of companies that I've had some meetings with about being a supplier, a lot of their employees say, you know, we don't mind our boots, but they don't look like nothing we would wear.
Yeah.
And that's important because the way we dress is a part of self-expression.
Yeah.
And so many times we go on these job sites, we change our voice. We change the way we dress. It's not really who we are. So my boots will give you permission
To be who you are.
to be you.
I like that. To be who you are.
Come on, man. I don't know what y'all have in store for me, man. So I got a pair of my boots on. These are soft toe. There's no safety toe in these. These are just the ones I like to wear. I'm bringing out 2 pairs of soft toe boots, so they won't have any safety toe. They nice looking boots.
Yeah.
And I think with a pair of stacked jeans and some Ed Henning boots, man, you can really be safe. But, yeah. Saturday, I got my grand opening of my store in Sherman Beach
At what time?
at 1 o'clock. So we're gonna kick it off.
So I gotta say this before I get locked out tonight, right? My wife said she gotta have some boots.
Yeah,
She wants some pretty boots
I got the ladies.
so that she can style them up. So
I got you.
yeah, I might have to come see you.
Yeah.
But I'll be there Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I might just have to need some women boots. Instead of men boots.
You gotta get her. You gotta get her.
But you know what I'm saying? Look like that look when you got them.
Right.
The clouds are sparkling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, you can do that with them because, yeah.
I want the ladies, although you work hard, you still want to show everybody that you're a woman.
Yes.
You know, just like the fellas, we come in there, we got this, we our own personal style, our own personal sense of self. And a lot of times on these job sites, construction sites, office jobs,
Yeah.
so many jobs, we walk in there and we totally lose who we are in these jobs.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people struggle with that. You know, I'm gonna speak on the guy that was dancing, and he committed suicide. And a lot of his writings came out after, and it seems as though he struggled. He was on The Last Dance or something like that, Dancing with the Stars, or one of the shows, and he committed suicide. And it was, you know, came out in some of his letters. He was struggling with so many different things.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that you can express yourself and be you. And I ain't talking about where it's disrespectful or detriment to yourself or disrespect to anybody else. I'm saying when you can truly express yourself and people can accept you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's not that you can't be yourself, it's when people don't accept you as yourself. But you do have to walk in the room. I tell people this all the time. When you walk in a room, somebody says, hey, what's your name? You introduce yourself to them. You tell them. So why you can't walk in the room with your chest out of your head and tell the world who you are, as opposed to waiting for them to tell you who you are? No, I'm gonna walk in this room and I'm gonna let you know who I am.
Oh, you don't know. You don't know.
But that's how you gotta know who I am. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You ain't give me who are you? You John Johnson. No, I'm not. I'm Henning. But that's how we do with our character and our personality and our self-expression. No, you walk in that room and tell me who you are.
Yeah.
But again, I just want to say, that's why I walk with my head up. You said that.
Yeah.
When I get right, I walk with my head up. Like, you know, like, you know, like me, I come from back. Growing up in foster homes, like the funniest clothes, and color background things, and all that stuff. When I got to prison and educated myself and got out of jail as a published author, I came out like old boy did on what was that? Why did I get you something? In the fish tank.
You feel good.
In other words, you know, waking us up to people, and it brings, you know, it knocks out the inferiority.
Now she feels good.
Yeah, it knocks out the inferiority and it builds up the spirit. That's the importance of becoming educated.
That's right.
I mean,
The belief in oneself.
exactly.
But if you don't believe you can, if you don't believe what
If you don't believe you, ain't nobody.
if you don't believe you can fly a plane, you ain't gonna go take a class. I'm gonna go take a class.
You know, I was told when I first started doing the community stuff, right? My wife told me that people ain't like it because you're too deep. You don't know what to share. But I was told by leadership in our city that I try to do too much. You're doing too much. I was told they're trying to do too much.
You told that.
You're trying to do too much, right? But I'm coming from a place where just did 3 bits.
Right.
I know how to fuck up very well.
Right.
Right? I know real well. And that's what y'all expect of me. But there's no part of me that nobody else,
Positive.
you know, this person that loves to read,
The ambition side.
that gets up at 4 o'clock in the morning because I'm gonna create this shit, right? That sits my son and talk to him about, will you stop? No.
Not to cut you off.
Yeah.
The work. Let me just say this. I got to give it up, man. I'm always on the grind. So I'm at home, I'm on something, I'm always on something. When you reached out to me, you said, man, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this. And I'm like, Sean, hell he doing? Like, all right.
Yeah.
But when I seen the work from Bible, resume type stuff to connecting dots, of putting me in spaces that I wasn't in before, having conversation that I wasn't having before, it was like overnight.
Yes, sir.
It was like, boom, 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 boom. I'm just gonna be specific with him. I said, man, he said, I'm gonna write you a bio. Man, I got like 4 bios. And I'm talking about they were so thorough and professional. I said, man, who did this, your wife? He said, no, man, I didn't talk like that. I'm talking about, I could have did it. Like, I'm the type of guy roll my sleeves up and get dirty.
Yeah.
But I always be tripping out about how people can sit down with their pen and get busy. Poets, authors, people that can do that paperwork. That ain't my strong suit. I be running from it. I run from paperwork. I be like, man, let me get out there in the dirt.
Yeah, I've been a close boy. I'm just not all the law master with the criminal laws.
Yeah. All that.
Straight.
Yeah.
You know, that's the gift that God bestowed on
There
me.
you go.
You know, but one thing I want to add in reference to what you said, in reference to those individuals, oh, you're doing too much. Nah, they come from the devil. Nah, you're doing too much. I know what you're saying. Now, right. Some people put that effort in.
You know, man,
Don't let nobody hold you back. Ain't nobody hold. Did they hold us back when we was in prison? Was they telling them to wait? Was they holding our hands when we was in prison?
you know,
The same individual that want to tell you doing too much. Hey man, what you at? You know, I was doing that them 3 bits.
Yeah.
Like,
you know what? It wasn't even the 3 bits that it was me being on a run for 4.5 years, having to put my family. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna take my time to learn some shit because I'm coming out from under this shit. And when I do, they'll never be able to put me back in that box. Because I'm not gonna allow myself to be put in that predicament. And when I lost my job this time, a lot of people don't know how I lost my job. I took everything I had and put it into this company and this podcast. Yeah. And I do that, man, for 35 times. Yeah. Because I got to see what the fuck I can do to push what I'm trying to be. Get up, I read. I mean, I watch the news. I try to find out what's going on in other people's lives so that I can fulfill my purpose. You know what I mean? So, you know, man, that finding that key that unlocks those obstacles.
I can go on that one.
You know what I mean? I'll put there myself.
Yeah, but where we at right now, just to piggyback on, this is what I believe. We talking about masses. Because you're gonna always have an individual that's gonna rise. You know, they did it through slavery, they did it through every horrendous act. But there was always somebody that rose up.
Yeah.
But when you talking about masses of people, you know, when Harriet Tubman was freeing people and helping them get to freedom, she had to put the gun on most of them.
Mm-hmm.
They just couldn't do it. They just couldn't do it. So I think where we at now, since all other movements are done and we in this internet era, stuff like that, and we seen our youth be sucked in and being led to all this wild stuff, craziness that they think is life. But I think coming from that school of thought,
Yeah.
I really think that Harriet Tubman got to return. Because just giving them options
Yeah.
and saying this is your option, they're not going to take it. It's like giving the baby candy and then trying to give them vegetables again. You done gave the baby candy now.
I want the best.
You done gave the baby candy now. So the only way we're going to be able to get our youth back, we're going to have to grab them in the headlock and we're going to have to drag them free. Just waiting on them to do it, they having too much fun ruining their life.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you brother speaking about the spirituality side, like they having too much fun. Everything is pleasurable.
Yeah.
What I ate last night, where I went on the flight, who I'm with in the bed, all of that stuff. If it ain't on social media, it didn't happen.
Yeah. And they put everything on social media.
If you ain't
I put a robbery on social media.
yeah, if it ain't on social media, it didn't happen. So now you don't open this Pandora's box. Now the only way is just like with slavery. You're gonna have to put the thing on and say, look, you're gonna have to be like Joe Jackson, you're gonna have to be like Serena and Venus' daddy, Tiger Woods' daddy, who said excellence, and that's it.
That's it.
Or else I'm gonna take it here.
Yeah.
That's the only way. You know what I'm saying?
We
Like,
also gonna have to force them to get this book. Parents, y'all need to get this book. You want to save your kids'
I
life.
got mine.
You want to save your kids' life. Get this book. Reaching the youth resolutions for the American crisis.
Get the book, get the book, get the book.
But
If you don't get the book, we're gonna keep on telling you to get the book. So get the book. Better get the book. I got the book.
You must guarantee for any parent to get this book for their youth and teach them the knowledge they're in. I got money back guarantee that your child will not end up in the system.
But also, you gotta take a step further.
Yeah.
Because not only do the kids need that, the mom and daddy, y'all need that.
Y'all need to.
So y'all can let them teach kids and take them back. This is an instructional manual on a curriculum and instructional guide designed to enable parents to properly raise and educate their kids at home. And it contains essential knowledge that our youth need to know that is not taught to us within the public school system.
But let's identify something, okay? The book alone ain't gonna do it.
That's right.
I mean, parents have to be parents.
That's right.
You have to return to being parents, and you have to return to that village mentality where, you know what, I need some help.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid to ask help. You know, I got 6 sons, and these kids, you know, not much now. I'm seeing now my kids grow, but they friends used to ask me questions and tell my kids, man, your pop's cool. My kids like, my pop's sharp. My pop means. You know what I mean? Man, my pop,
Yeah, because that's where we come from.
yeah. You know what I mean? Now that my kids are young adults, young men, I get the, hey, pops, I need knowledge.
Yeah.
Hey, pops, can you tell me how to do this? Pops, hey, I appreciate what you, I understand.
Yeah.
Especially if they got kids.
Yeah.
You know, because my thing now, I'm a comfort. I'm not.
Right.
Right. Do what you want to do.
I
I don't care. Just no stress. Don't want to because it's going on with your dad.
No stress.
No.
Stress kills, man.
But my kids ask questions. And, you know, I don't like to say that my kids are the exemption. They're the exemption. You know what I mean? I was gone throughout their life. Right? They got a mama who, if daddy don't want this shit to happen, so I'm not gonna put the shit in there. You know what I mean? I see parents now though that push their kids towards the streets.
Yeah.
And you gotta get this money.
Oh, yeah, good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How you telling your baby about the risk?
That's poverty. That's
Matter of
poverty.
fact,
Mental.
did you, hey,
Yeah.
A psychological problem.
That's the stress.
did y'all hear about recently they arrested a mother who allegedly had her teenage sons commit those armed robberies in the river west area on the east side? And then allegedly had her saying, you put that work in and y'all doing good.
Yeah.
You know, you say alleged. You say alleged.
I'm putting a letter.
This is the reality in a lot of times. We not
Poverty, man.
we not gonna play
This
the
poverty.
American game.
Right. It's not a bad game.
He doing what he's supposed to.
Yeah. From a legal standpoint.
I'm not trying to no, we're talking about what we know as failures in these homes.
That's right.
These are not alleged failures. We see the failures every day when we see them walking down the street. When we witness these crimes, when we read about these crimes. Allegedly for her, right? Allegedly for her.
She's been charged with not being
That's right. And like I just said, I just seen a robbery on video. 3 of them took the man's gun and everything in the
Yeah.
around other people. So you just risk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And I ain't heard anybody
But that's why I watch the news.
doing nothing.
Because I look at the news as the exploitation of poor people.
Yeah.
Some sections are most of them are.
Yeah, because
They tend to show more.
Whereas they didn't do that.
Because I report the news. I can go to any poor community in the world and tell you what's going on. Somebody gonna be shot.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna get robbed.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
It's gonna be high crime and low morals.
Yeah.
Go to Mexico. Impoverished communities in Spain.
Mhm.
Impoverished communities in Israel. Impoverished communities in Russia.
Yeah.
Impoverished communities in the Bible. Hey, high crime, low morals. Poverty is undefeated.
Yeah.
So if I put a group of people in poverty, I can wait for the black to start. It's simple. They're gonna come out of there. What they say, crabs in the bucket. Who put the crabs in the bucket? They ain't even got to in the bucket. They're supposed to be in the sea, in the ocean, in the water. Why put the crabs in the bucket? Come on, crab in the bucket. They don't belong in the bucket.
Right.
People, human beings, do not function well in power. Not me, not you,
Nobody.
not nobody.
Nobody.
You can't be your best self in power.
Matter of fact,
You can't.
even it's not hold on, piggyback with this TV real quick. In this one, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said poverty in his days, which was over 1,400 years ago, was a blessing. But in the latter days, it will be a curse.
So stop asking for people to be. But that's why our Milwaukee was better, because we had a better economic situation. Our parents would come up here with a less than high school education from Tennessee, from Mississippi, from Arkansas, and they came to Wisconsin, and they made money to buy homes, drive motorcycles, buy boats, and all of that stuff. Then Milwaukee is gone, so now it's back to why they left the South in the first place. Because they were in poverty in the South. And they came over here for a better opportunity. Now it's gone. Now everybody rushing to Dallas, Arizona.
Everybody going back.
Opportunity.
Everybody going back south.
Right, because we don't function well in poverty.
Yes.
And so, oh, we got to do better. Quit asking more people to do better than can. You know what? If the girl got 2 kids, when I go to penitentiary and speak, I went to Racine and spoke a couple months ago. And I cussed the brothers out. And I said, listen, man, your woman lives on 33rd North, 23rd and Capitol, 7th Street, Burleigh Street. You on that phone asking her to send you some money?
Yeah.
She poor as hell, man.
She ain't got it. And he mad at her.
If she had money, she wouldn't be able to the white people.
Right. Yeah.
You know what she would do? She would Friday when she get off work, so she could drop the 3 kids off at grandma's house, and she go to Mr. B's and get drunk and probably see a nice little handsome man. They got his own crib, and she can get away from the stresses of her situation for a night or 2, and that's great. Corey Holcomb just said it on the comedy show. He said, I'm in the best situation I ever been. I got a lot of money, and I got access to women in power.
Wow. It's the truth.
Yeah. He said, I got a lot of money and I got access to women in power. And what you think that's gonna do? He gonna be there. He gonna live. So stop doing the problem. We gotta do better. Ain't nobody doing better than poverty. you're gonna be saying that to the earth. We gotta stop asking for better opportunity to help get people out of potholes, right? Because Sasha Malaya, LeBron's kids, Beyonce and Jay-Z's kids, when you see them start doing some of the stuff that we do, then we got a problem with black people. But we just got a problem with people in power. Look at Honey Boo Boo. Living in the trailer. They made a whole show up on Honey Boo Boo.
Yeah.
They wasn't black.
No.
But they was acting just like black people, but it wasn't black people, it was poor people. Poor people. Not black.
Right.
Poor people.
Right.
So we got to stop saying, yeah, black people can't get it right. It's not
But
black.
that's a lie.
It's poor
That's,
people.
yeah, poor people. My little brother told me years ago, like, man, I may be broke, but I'm not poor. I don't have a poor person's mentality, right? Right now.
He the exception.
And
He the
he
exception.
told me this while we were in prison.
Yeah, he the exception.
My little brother hates poor people because he said it's a mentality.
It is.
It's
It
a
is.
mentality. They cool with being poor. They comfortable with being content and having.
But look, he's above average. But if you put the average person in poverty, it's gonna take its toll. It's gonna break you down.
Well, when you say poverty, so what are you saying? Working or just unemployed?
Or the environment.
The environment. So when I say poverty, I mean, what's the poverty? 75,000 or 35,000?
No,
35,000 under is poverty.
oh, I think
Something like that.
the average person, man, probably makes about between 45 and 55, 5,000 a year.
Yeah.
So anything below that is probably
Yeah.
poverty.
So they say like 35,000 range and under is
Yeah.
poverty.
Okay. So you're making that kind of money. You working, you maintaining.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have the best. So you know, you work.
That's right.
You said key word. You're maintaining.
That's right. So where, and so this will be my question, because poverty is very important and a good component to what's going on, but also with morals. It always comes with morals,
Right.
Because you can make $35 a year and just work a job, and you're not gonna go around. You're not gonna go to the crack, and you're not gonna go pimping. You ain't gonna do that. You're just gonna work a job, and you're poor. But it's people that's poor or not poor that's morally corrupt.
Are you poor or do you have a poor mentality?
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. Because without being poor, you can't even, the mentality ain't gonna set in. So say for instance, okay, your economic situation, okay, you ain't living too well, things are really rough. Because growing up on Franklin, I'm gonna tell you this, the guys that beat you down, they was the guys who had the worst home life.
Yeah.
The guys that came to school and they was ready to fight on trouble to have, the guys had the worst home life. They didn't have the car that your daddy and granddaddy had. They didn't have the school clothes that your mom and daddy put you in. They didn't get, you know what I'm saying, some of the perks that you got. You got $5 in your pocket to go to the store after school. They didn't have all of that. So what was going on with them at home, they brought them to school. And they was ready to bust your head.
Yeah.
Most of them, not all of them, but most of the guys that I know I went to Franklin that was ready to get down at the drop of a hat, they had the worst home life. They had it bad at home. They didn't play. Bobby Grayson. Me and Bobby Grayson used to tussle every day. But Bobby Grayson was big. When we was in first grade, me and that told him, you better put me down. You better I'm just saying. My boy, man, you know, we was
Now too.
yeah, that's good, man. But you know, we probably tough it up, man.
I'm trying to do stuff with the homeless, man.
That's good, man.
I want to work really to get this mobile shop. It's like an 8 shop.
Yeah.
that you can take it from.
That's good, man. That's good to hear. I would brought that name up because when I think of back in the day, man, I think of the guys like that, man. You know, it was the, you know, I had it down. It was some individuals that didn't have a good home life, man. They was a little bit more grimy. You know what I'm saying?
I think he looked grimy.
Yeah, not just Bobby. Yeah.
Joseph Nancy now.
Yeah.
Terry, you know, all of them.
Yeah.
See, so I think
Not too many of us that grew up in there. We didn't have a too grimy either.
we had two.
Yeah, we didn't have a too grimy either. I just wanted to show that we can fight.
Yeah.
We really have all that.
See, I said the other side. But that's a pretty they don't
But look, Lorenzo Jones and Morgan too.
No,
I'm just saying, they was on the other side.
You don't know it at all. I don't know it at all.
APK. It wasn't suburbs, you know. But you know, my two friends, and we, because that was the divide. The north side of town, the south side of town. When I was growing up, the older guys like don't go on that side of town. Like, fuck that side.
Right.
So when I get old enough, I don't know why.
Right.
We 2-7 stole my bike.
Right.
Just got the bike. I just had a bike an hour. Mike and them. That's why I tried to get you with Eric that day. I went to McDonald's to get some water, came up, brand new intensity going, bro. Yeah. I said, never again was somebody take my bike. Houston took my bike on my bike.
Yeah.
But we got it back. We got off the bus. With me, Megan, all yeah. So that's history. That's history. We go. Yeah, man, it is.
And like going back to what I was saying about, we didn't experience hardcore poverty in our time.
Yeah.
The opportunities were great. So we didn't get the drive-by shootings. We didn't get the throwing people in the trunk.
Right.
We didn't experience that till older, till all of that stuff started to leave. And then people started to get with the times, with the conditions. The conditions got worse, the morality got worse. You know what I'm saying? Because our conditions wasn't like this.
No.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like this.
We didn't have no minor orders, jiggles.
All of that stuff, a bunch of weird stuff, we just kept all that thing getting away from their situations. Get away.
Now, I don't know what they smoke. Smoking, not weed. Smoking meth, smoking pot. No, serious. Bro.
Me just mentioned morals.
More.
So my granddaddy and grandma pulled up on Saturday morning after grocery shopping. They just popped the trunk and went in the house and sat out.
Yep.
Nowadays, the woman come from grocery shopping. She carries back in the house and her son in the house like this.
Yeah.
Morals.
Yeah.
Like, baby, you do not bring groceries in the house. You don't take out garbage. You got 2-3 sons in the house. My granddaddy would have killed us. If my grandmama had a bag in her hand, she worked all week to feed us, and she got to bring the groceries in too, man, the roof coming off the house. And my grandmother to this day still live on 23rd right there. And my uncle, the last one, that he go there every single morning and take the garbage out and then water the grass in the summer and all of that. My granddad put it in the field there.
Yeah.
Don't let him tear his house up. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But that's the moral code. That's the compass that kept us guided, even on our worst day.
Yeah.
You know,
Who you are. That's what I'm saying. So these kids now don't have that. Their parents is not.
They said, don't say nothing to my kids.
yeah.
Your mom and daddy could have beat me down and just walked me home.
Man,
The Tony's out there cooking. What you mean? Kill me. Get it go.
I got hit 3 times from Atkinson Park, with Garno Park on 26th and Atkinson. I think on 25th and Hope, Beach with Hope and Rosedale. That's like, you know, Miss Selma don't allow you to do this.
Right.
You know, Miss Selma has this. Wait till I tell Sam and son.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, we have a village.
Yeah, the village.
Anybody ever read a book by their teacher?
But they knew that you were sent there to get educated.
That's right.
Not to have academic food.
That's right.
And before you bucked up and got tough, here's what that ass.
That's right.
Yeah, you got that coming.
You know what I mean?
And you got permission.
Now you break your mom back, they call the police.
Right.
Call the police. By the time they get here, you better hope they brought
So,
them.
indoctrination.
Mhm.
Indoctrination for what our parents and grandparents knew what we needed.
Yeah.
Because they was coming out of the situation.
Yes.
So they knew what we needed. But now we got here, we done got indoctrinated.
Yeah.
Because I know all y'all can attest to this. Going to the grocery store with your mom, the kids in the grocery store kicking. Your mama look at you and say,
Right.
yeah. Now, in the grocery store now,
You see, man, Mexican, black, white,
everybody.
right.
It's a breakdown. You know, breakdown. You know, I remember when I was in 6th grade, sitting out in class and spelling. I was spelling words like mono, ultra, microscopic, syllable, kind.
Right.
And you know, that's a medical term. The root word of it is pneumonia. Now,
Somebody can spell, you know.
only part of the English language is like 40 letters or whatever. Mono, ultra, microscopic, syllable, kind. Here in this we got these 12th grades. They're not reading that 12th grade. The 7th grade, they're not reading that. They're reading that. The teacher got us It's the 3-4-letter word. Eat up shit.
Well, they don't know the word. They abbreviate everything. NGL, FPV. We're gonna get rid of this.
Gonna wrap it up. We had a great session today. Yeah, we definitely had a great session. We had the wizard on deck, Mr. Ed Henning. Y'all don't have to, you're in the field back a while. Reset and get it fair to boots. They not.
They know you got though. You got
They got talk. They got no. They got these boots. I'm gonna be the same.
Yeah. I'm good, man. I got 13, 14. Yeah, all the way up to 15.
Yeah. So you know, y'all.
What's the smallest? Cause my wife thinks smaller than
I
mine.
got women's side.
Yeah, y'all in the Milwaukee area, come on down to Circle Phoenix Center at 1 p.m. Saturday. Come support our brothers, the Genius, Ed Hennings, you know, with the grand opening and things of that nature. And also, at the end of the day, for all who are listening, if you don't have a copy of this book and you got disadvantage, you look. Stop being crook and get them a copy of this book. It may save his life.
That's
Yeah. Well, hey, Toby's always nice. It's good to see you out here doing the thing. You know, people give you props, you get out, you take care of business. I got out, I took care of my business. That's what we do. You know, it's the hustle always in.
That's right.
You know, it's always in. If I was out selling drugs before I went to prison, I'm not selling drugs, and I'm still a hustler. Always.
Yes, sir.
And that's what you are. You know?
Yes, sir.
So, I mean, man, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'll be there to say everything that we're doing.
Yeah, appreciate that.
You want to say anything? To
Man,
anybody?
you know, at the end of the day, my business is always an inspiration. From whatever business I started, from barbering to trucking, now to work boots, speaking, it's always to take on the next challenge to make sure somebody that's watching is inspired to, you know, take their opportunities and take their shot too. So at the end of the day, the inspiration business is still going. These brothers understand that they're in the same business, man, inspiring people that come from where we come from that look like us to overcome that situation. That's it.
That's right.
I got a couple things to say. One, there's this sister that needs some work did on her pipes. The house strap is messed up. If there's anybody out there that'd be willing to do that at a discounted rate, she was single parent. She needs some help. Toby's grand opening is Saturday at 1 o'clock. However, we're trying to do a little bit more than that. We believe that he should be designated as having his #1 workbook, right? And that's the designation that we're going after. We have a meeting with the county executive office in a couple of weeks where we're going to present this to them. I will be starting a poll or something because I need y'all support on this. You know, if you support this brother, man, and what he's put down, you know, this ain't about Toby, what Toby is doing. This is to inspire other people.
Yeah.
And you know,
bigger than us. Sure.
you got over 100 years in this room right now that was given to the penitentiary system. I want y'all to think about that.
What's that?
It's that many between us.
20, 40, 16.
He was at 40. He did more than 20.
Oh,
Right.
Yeah. Oh, right.
He did.
Okay.
So
85.
we didn't allow the circumstances to control our situation. We refused to give up when people thought that we couldn't come back. You know, the hustle is a mentality.
That's right.
You know, and everybody got in it. Truth be told, you just got to unlock it. And you got the key. We'll be back next week for another episode, man.
Truth be told.
I mean, for Mr. Ed Henning, America's only black work group.
I'm gonna see what them who's doing the trees, bro.
I'm a capo. We'll holler at y'all later, man.
I got the anti-flip.
Okay.
I don't got a plays, so I don't got time for these niggas. Only got time for the chicken. If it's about some bread, I'ma get it. These niggas see how I'm lit. You niggas cap, so I stay fitted. I don't call no plays, but I'ma go get it. Yeah. I don't call no plays, but I'ma go get it. I don't call no plays. No, I ain't calling no plays. I ain't no Matt Ryan. Mathematician money is multiplying. I got the drip. I don't need to stop.